Hello everyone and welcome to the Ghost Game Quick Thoughts video. This time I'm going to be going over episode 23, Moaning Bug, and what I thought about this episode. So first a quick synopsis. There's some infected Digimon running around, and later on we have the chosen children's Digimon also get infected by this red data bug that is both a bug in terms of a computer virus, but also makes them turn into literal bugs and get sort of bug-like features. So it's kind of like the double meaning. Is it a bug as in a computer bug, or a bug as in an actual bug? And it's both. So that's kind of cool. I thought that it might just be a bug, but no, it was both meanings of the word bug. So that was pretty cool. So then we have Clockmon, who is trying to save humans who are attacked by these infected Digimon. And then we also have Mummymon also making an appearance as a doctor. And Clockmon collects a sample and gives the sample to Mummymon. And then they're able to determine that it's because of Morphmon. During this time, Hero is able to realise that he can kind of cure Gammon by giving him lots of spicy food because he sees that he sneezes after falling over some pepper and he's able to sort of snap out of it. And then we also have Ruri trying to fight Angoramon. And it's kind of interesting how each of the kids go about their infected partners in different ways. We have Hero trying to sort of come up with a solution, being a little bit more hands-on. When Gammon first attacks, he throws him outside the door, and then Gammon scuttles off, and then he tries to come up with a solution. We have Kiyoshiro, who immediately starts to run away when Jellymon's infected, but also Jellymon seems the most terrifying, I guess. Gammon's still kind of a little bit clumsy, a little bit like the baby that he always is, and Angoramon is actually telling Ruri to run. Jellymon is just the most dangerous, I guess. So the thing about this bug is that it's almost like it's bringing out whatever their true intentions are or how they are typically. Like Angoramon, he's still attacking, and this is sort of his fight or flight response is to attack, but it's also to tell Ruri to run because he is very caring. So it's like maybe this is how the Digimon reacts to a scary or threatening situation. Angoramon's still trying to protect, Gammon's still a little bit clumsy about it, and Jellymon is just waking up and choosing chaos and violence every single time. So that is a kind of interesting thing, that they're not just all reacting the same way. Each of them reacts to the bug in a different way. And I kind of like that. That was an interesting take. It also made it seem a little bit more unique than just, okay, they're crazy and just attacking. So I did like that. Anyway, so the children find out that there's a satellite passing over, which is actually distributing the data from the Morphmon, which is working as an SOS and making all the Digimon go out of control. Gammon evolves to Wesengamon and uses a new attack called Albion to kind of 15th Angel Ariel destroy with the Lance of Longinus sort of type thing going on at the moment. So that happens. And then during this time, they're also able to find where the signal's coming from. We find out it's coming from a researcher who has kidnapped a Morphmon, and the Morphmon's sending out these SOS signal sort of things. So Clockmon bursts into the researcher's place, grabs the hard drive, and the children are able to save Morphmon. And the episode ends. And by the way, Jellymon at the end says that she wanted to hurt Kiyoshiro more than normal. Like, she was really excited about it. Angoramon was kind of apologetic. Gammon doesn't remember whenever he's had, like, any episode of darkness. Angoramon seemed to be like, oh, I was fully conscious and regretful of what happened. Jellymon remembers it and was also like, yeah, that was cool. We'll do that again. 10 out of 10 experience. So, again, each of the three chosen children's Digimon had a different reaction to after it ending, and Gammon never remembers anything that happens. He's always just like, oh, okay, I'm happy with existing. So that's a thing. But in any case, the first thing that I noticed about this episode was the fact that it was just beautifully animated. It was just stunning. And I mean, I say beautiful, but the animation really made the episode scarier. I'm trying to find the best way to say that, but the animation was so good. it made it scarier than it was, and it had like the shadows, the way that the shadows played into it, and the way that the characters moved when they were infected, how they were moving kind of like these bugs, and how they're all scuttling. That was absolutely horrifying, and it was it came off so well, this level of animation. It was probably one of the best animated episodes in the season so far, which is saying a lot because this season has some pretty good animation. And also, it's in a non-plot important episode. They pull out all these stakes to make it very scary. Like, Ghost Game, I always say, has a good level of fear where it's like, it's not scary enough that it'll keep you up all night, and it's not like sort of baby scary that you'd be like, oh yeah, that wasn't scary at all. They just kind of like put a dark lens on it. It's still scary, but yeah, not scary enough to keep you up at night. This episode, I would say, is probably almost, it's definitely towing that line a little bit more than the other episodes, and the animation really does a good job of carrying that almost over that line. So just beautiful in terms of animation, and definitely makes this episode stand out quite a bit. Big fan of that. And it was just so creepy with these infected Digimon, how they were moving. The way that they were animated to move, and the way that they were sort of moving and scuttling around, really brings it home how creepy this is. As for something that I'm not really a fan of, I'm not really sure why the spicy food just cures Gammon's bug. It kind of snaps him out of it. I'm not really sure about it. It was fairly cute how, like, he starts crying. He's kind of like, why, hero? Like, he's upset about it. I'm not really sure why it worked, though. This episode, in general, has the same sort of thing that I've said about a lot of episodes of Ghost Game, is that the starts are so strong, and they put so much work into building the atmosphere and building what's happening and making you afraid and making you scared for the characters, doing some investigation about what's causing it, introducing any recurring characters that are coming up. Like, a lot of Ghost Game episodes focus on that very first chunk of the episode, but then when it comes to any, like, solution or, like, any bit past that investigation stage, it just falls off a little bit weakly. They kind of just like, okay, we cure Gammon. We have Ruri Fighting Angoramon, which is really cool, by the way. I love how each of the humans has a different way of solving the situation. Kyoshi is just running, and Hero's trying to solve it, and Ruri's just, like, fighting it. And I really like that. Ruri was really cool, the way that she was fighting Angoramon. Even though Angoramon was telling her to run, she wasn't. She wanted to save Angoramon, but she also didn't want him to just leave. And I do also like that Angoramon didn't want to hurt Ruri. He kept on, like, almost leaving on his own. And that was kind of cool. I did like that. But it just felt very rushed, like a lot of Ghost Game episodes, when they have so much time at the very start of the episode, and then by the end of it, they're rushing to get to the solution. It feels kind of like, oh yes, the satellite is right above, right this moment, so we can shoot it down, and that's why it's amplifying the signal. It seems very coincidental, like it's a very specific situation that has come across, like, why is this situation happening now? Why didn't it happen before? How long has Morphmon been this way? Has it been like there for weeks and months? I don't know, and it's only becoming an issue now because of the satellite. I'm not sure. Also, it just reminded me of a bit of like episode 20-ish of Adventure Colon, where they were all like, oh, there's a satellite, we have to reprogram and wait for it to pass overhead. It just reminded me of that a little bit, but it was still done better than that. But in any case, I like the fact that the Mon of the Week, or what have you, and that solution was unique. We had the human be the cause. The Digimon wasn't even slightly at fault. The Digimon wasn't influencing the human. The human wasn't assisting the Digimon to do evil, like in the Birdmon episode, or Yadagaramon or Crowmon. I think it's Crowmon in the English version. But anyway, so we don't have the Digimon being the bad thing. It's actually the human who is causing this to happen. So that felt quite unique in terms of all we've got from Ghost Games so far. And I did like that. We also have the human who I'm kind of hoping is a new chosen or will be relevant again. I know that I said that for the Birdmon episode and he's not come back since and he was fairly forgettable, but I'm hoping this character is somebody who returns as maybe a bad guy or maybe a new chosen. I'm hoping for new chosen. There is a girl in the ending animation of Ghost Game who is being harassed by or followed around by Hiro's friend. And if this character is someone who is known to Hiro, Ruri, or Hiroshiro, it could also be why they had Clockmon burst in to get the hard drive instead of one of the characters, because they might have recognized her. So again, I know it's kind of like a bit of a leap, but it would be nice to have another character come in. It also wouldn't be completely absurd for Digimon to introduce a new Chosen halfway through, because they've done that for just about every season. They've had a character join halfway through. I'm trying to think of a series that they haven't done that, because in Adventure we had Hikari, and then in 02 we had Ken, in Tamers we had Juri, Hirokazu, Kenta, and Ryo. And we also had Ai and Mako, who were Beelzemon's tamers. We also had Koichi in Frontier. In Savers, we had Ikuto. Even though he was kind of always with a partner, he kind of joined later on. In Cross Wars, we had Nene. And in Young Hunters, it was consistent. They just continually introduced new Chosen through it. Atmon, we had Ray kind of joined in later, and we also had Yujin, who really joined in like halfway as like the next character. So yeah, it's been something that Digimon's always done. And of course in Colon we had both Takeru and Hikari introduced as like additional characters halfway through the series. So even though we kind of already knew about them. But in any case, it would be completely on brand for Digimon to introduce a new Chosen. And that's why I'm kind of thinking it's this character. She's also kind of cool to have another kind of crazy character join in. It's like a Maki Manoa character that we've kind of had before, where they're kind of a little bit deranged, but maybe they have a reason to be. I like the fact that she's a researcher. Maybe she doesn't actually know that hurting Digimon is hurting a real creature and actually is affecting others. It could be an interesting thing to go by, especially because they both have brown hair, the girl in the ending animation, and this girl, and they both have glasses. Their hairstyle's a little bit different, but they could have just combed it differently. She looked like she was kind of frantic because maybe she's been working for hours, we don't know, so her hair was kind of messy. So that could be interesting if this is a character that we know of already, or the characters know of already. And again, that would make sense why we have Clockmon involved. But anyway, I loved how we got to see Mummymon again in his doctor role. That was kind of cool. It was also, as I said, cool seeing Ruri fight and Angoramon telling her to run. That was really cool. And I loved how unique the episode felt. It didn't just have Mon of the Week. The Digimon shows up at the very start, is causing issues, the characters investigate it, then halfway through they kind of come up with a solution, and then they either beat the Digimon and the Digimon like kind of is suspicious and leaves, or they talk the Digimon out of it and they're friends by the end of the episode. No, that didn't happen. It was completely unique in terms of it didn't follow that same sort of like story pattern or storyboard of just what I just went over. It was a different kind of episode, and I really liked that, and I liked how it was unique and it wasn't just the same old filler episode that we've had and the same story structure that we have in those filler episodes. So, fairly interesting. But yeah, I really do hope that the girl is a new Chosen. This episode was actually very, very scary and creepy. I loved that. I love when Ghost Game is creepy. Some episodes are kind of like, they're creepy, but they're kind of like, it's fun creepy. This episode was very creepy. I'm not scared of bugs, but I can imagine if somebody is scared of bugs, they probably would be very unsettled in this episode, in the same way that I was fairly unsettled in the Arukenimon episode because I'm arachnophobic. So this episode, fairly creepy, very scary, hoping that we get an additional Chosen, especially this one, because she seems pretty cool. She's like a glasses girl, and I like glasses girls as characters, and also I kind of want to know more about her. I wish this episode kind of gave us more of an insight about this researcher, what does she think she's doing, what is she doing, why is she doing it, did she know Morphmon before? Morphmon mentioned she was playing on the internet, was she playing with the human? We don't know. I'd like to know more, and that's why I'm really hoping that this is a new or additional Chosen, and she kind of has a redemption arc, as usually that character who fills this position in Digimon tends to do, or something similar. But anyway, those are my thoughts for this episode. What do you think about this episode and also the possibility for a new chosen in the comments? Like this video if you think new chosens are cool, or just if you like my pink jumper. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. I'm still trying to get to 15,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and it's now April. So don't have that much long in terms of time, so please subscribe and tell your friends, and I'll be very, very grateful. So please do that, and of course, I'll see you on the next video. Bye!